The Indians send signals from the rocks above the pass. The cowboys take position in the bushes and the grass. The score is with the corporal, she is tied against a tree.
I know you didn't want to see Cats, but you
No.
won't be seeing Cats at the Oscars this year.
Oh, really? Have we already found out what the nominees are?
Who's hosting the Oscars this year? First things first.
I don't know.
We have to know by now, right?
I would think so. Did they try last year no hosting?
Yeah, new host,
Yeah.
no host.
Yeah, right.
I don't think we've decided yet. I
Okay.
think they're thinking about going without a host again, but then who's going to make fun of Cats?
Yeah, it's easy target, right?
Yeah, Cats has pulled itself from. Let me restart that. Cats has ended its campaign for awards contention, and I assume
Really?
that this means any award show of next year. Yeah, Universal Pictures put the kibosh on any kind of promoting of it for best film, score,
Really?
song. Yeah, you think they could at least probably shoot for that?
I
right?
would think so.
But I think in the wake of how horribly it was received,
Yeah.
they have not done that. They've just said no. And again, I'm not allowed to see it, so I can't say. But can't we? Isn't there an appreciation for a camp classic? Does it
Yeah.
ascend to that?
I've heard from people that it doesn't even do camp well.
Okay.
Like it takes itself a little bit too seriously.
Well,
So-
I mean, that could be camp for
Yeah,
sure.
but it's not like you don't just like enjoy it like, oh, I'm having fun. Like it's like painful to watch. So I don't know. Like I said, if you really want to see it, I will go watch it.
I don't.
with you.
I actually do want to see it, but I don't really
Okay,
want to
then
pay
let's-
for it because
Okay.
I want the option to bail on it when I get bored
When you're done.
of toying with it.
Mm.
When it goes under the couch, I want to go do something else. And if I had to pay, $16 to see it, I'd probably want to stick around just to
Yeah.
justify the expense. But
Right.
I mean, Taylor Swift is probably thinking, oh, I'm going to get another shot at an Oscar, with her new song that was in it. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, I don't think we have to throw the cats out with the bathwater,
Wow.
which they would not enjoy,
No, they would not.
or being in a bath.
Yeah.
It's just a bad situation for cats.
It is. I think they will win some Razzies though. That's what I think.
Oh, they're going to lock those up.
Yeah.
Those
right.
are worthless, though, right?
Yeah, they are.
They're
Pretty
not.
much.
I found out the other day that it's not. First of all, you'd think, oh, let's have fun.
Right.
We are being critical, of course we are, but we like movies, and when Sandra Bullock goes and accepts her Razzie Award. She accepted her Razzie Award, I think, the night before she accepted her Oscar Award for The Blind Side.
Oh, okay.
Because she was in All About Steve or whatever that year as well.
Oh, okay.
And so that's like, oh, okay, so it's a kind of fun thing. They're making fun of things, but it's light and it's wink nudge. It's not. It's just a bunch. Imagine like an internet movie commentator.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine, don't look across the desk at me, who's just a real pill and is just a real jerk and cynical about everything. Close your eyes and imagine. And then times it by 500 and that's them. And then apparently the votes, I mean, it's not like the Oscar votes are all that legitimate, but like the votes are, you buy the votes.
Really?
So the thing is, I think the organization is supported by people like buying votes. It's like $10 for a vote or whatever. And some people like, oh man, I hate that cats. I can drop $500 on this. And so it's
Wow.
like 50 votes against cats.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So yeah, it's just whatever is the odds on. And this happens, we've talked about this. This happens in like quote unquote legitimate criticism where
Yeah.
critics just go, oh wow, boy, I love that Book of Henry.
Yeah, right. I know.
Because I have to support somebody, or I don't want to piss off Sony or whoever made that movie.
Right.
And then it's like, cats, I think we can all get by on this one. If we all skip school, they can't put us all in detention.
Right.
So we all just dump on a movie like Cats. And, a lot of people worked very hard on Cats.
I'm sure they did.
Not the VFX artists.
No.
Not them.
No. Because like you said, it wasn't even really done when it was first released.
Yeah, and apparently it's just not even very good. Like, nobody expects Gollum, but there's just literal... Because a lot of times, like... okay, so like Francesca Hayward is, a royal ballerina or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure maybe Jason Derulo can move. I don't know. But like a lot of the actors aren't necessarily dancers or performers.
Right.
And so if like Taylor Swift's character, who I don't know why I know she's called Bomb Ballerina, if she does a backflip, that's not Taylor Swift, but they'll just, who cares? It's already a computer anyway, so they just stick her face on there. But apparently they don't do it very well. So the face is all like weird and floaty.
Yeah, it just doesn't sit well, does
like
it?
when Conan used to do the thing where he'd do the Johnny Quest thing where they'd have like Bill Clinton and then somebody else's mouth. It's like, oh, hey, Conan. And it's just like just the lips are moving, they're floating around.
Yeah.
We cover everything on this show.
We do.
Except for
we
like
really
stuff we don't like.
Well,
speaking of that, we're going to talk about things that we like today on this, the last show of 2019 for the Just Enough Trope podcast. I'm your host, Caliban, joined as always by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Mikan Hana.
And we're here to talk about, like I said, our best picks of 2019, or the 19 as I call it. Say goodbye to the teens. You won't see them again, well, ever.
And not in our lifetime.
Maybe our descendants will one day see them.
Yes.
And we're moving on to 2020.
Yes.
Which...
the Roaring 20s, right?
Yeah. I always think of Hugh Downs and Barbara Walters. But that was a while
fair
ago
enough.
too. I'm tired of explaining to people how old I am. Maybe I need to own it.
Yeah, you're not that old, though. I don't think you're that old.
Yeah, well, you're pretty old.
Oh, thanks.
Now what do you think?
No, I think I want to smack you for saying that.
Hey, that's elder abuse. So we're going to talk about some of our picks, kind of the main ones. You know, I thought we'd talk about TV shows and films and what else? Album of the year?
Well, I didn't really. Maybe video game of the year?
Yeah, video game. Well, yeah, I didn't want to like TV shows and movies important. And the rest of the categories we cover so much that I didn't want to like just sit and do like we've done the Jetties before in the past.
Yes.
And we've kind of retired them or at least put them on break for now. You know, baseball didn't play for a year. We'll give the Jetties a break. But we are talking about our sort of favorites and our picks. And so I wanted to like solidify. Let's talk about movies and TV. But a couple more that are sort of our own sort of thumbs up.
Yes.
You know, or blue chip kind of things you should be looking at.
Yes.
And they could come from the realms of comic books or TV, video games or whatever. Even specific creators and individuals.
Yes, exactly.
What'd you think about 2019 just as a whole?
There were some real positive things, but there are a lot of like stinkers out there too, I think. I guess this is maybe being too specific. I kind of wanted Captain Marvel to be better than it was, and I don't think that it necessarily moved female superheroes in film like in the direction that I wanted it to move it in.
Really? Wow.
I mean, maybe it did. Maybe I'm being too harsh on it. I just wish it had been better than it was. I wish the script was better, you know.
I just think that it's not good, and Ant-Man and Wasp wasn't that good, and I don't think Black Panther was that good. I just think that we've clearly got, you know, it's like Star Wars, right? You got Han Solo, you got Chewbacca. Actually, sorry, we're gonna leave Chewie out of this one.
Okay,
take that medal back. Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia. There you go, right?
Yeah.
Now, there's thousands of people in the Rebel Alliance.
Yes.
But, you know, if you're, say, I don't know, a Bothan, you're probably going to die getting those plans. But if you're Luke Skywalker, you're going to come out okay. And that's like the Russo brothers, and that's like, I don't know, Robert Downey Jr. as just a business, not necessarily a man, whoever's directing or writing for him. That's Marcus and McFeely. These are the guys that, like, are really making the glowing hot core of MCU films. Yeah. And then all the other things just sort of like fall around there in some dispersal pattern. Yeah. Yeah. And so I think the good oversight of the MCU keeps the lesser films sort of within orbit. School of fish. Sure. But as we get on into like now, you know, early phase 4 or late phase 3, we used to say like, oh, can't wait for that Thor. It's going to be great. But Ant-Man, it was all right. But all the new ones now, to me, have kind of just been all right. There hasn't been like a really good new one. Like Doctor Strange was okay.
I agree.
Although the second one sounds great.
Yeah.
I thought Black Panther was fine. But we haven't heard anything about the second one really.
No, and I think,
and then I'm sure that like the Captain Marvel 2 will be great. I think, but then Thor was the same way. You know, the first Thor was like, this is okay.
I think I liked that more than the first Captain Marvel film, though. I mean,
because you're part Dutch.
No, wow. I think
because the Dutch angles. I don't know if people are gonna get that. Yeah. It's like Kenneth Branagh is like, comic book, eh? Boop. What?
Well, I feel like the first Captain America movie was like okay. It was,
the more I watch it, the more
it
really rubs off on me. Yeah,
okay.
I do actually really like it.
Okay. But I don't know. I just wanted it to be stronger than it was.
There's no better way to wrap up 2019 by once again going over in incredible intimate detail every single film in the MCU, which is pretty much our jobs now. I'll tell you what I thought about 2019. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, what did you think about 2019?
As far as hellscapes go, not the hellest of scapes.
True.
I felt like this was, this was the Ravenclaw of hellscapes. Fine. Not Gryffindor.
Not the best.
Fine.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
And after we talk about the news, which we'll do in a little bit, I wanted to sort of dig in more to that and talk about the endless parade of spin-offs, sequels, and sort of also rans that we are basically going to be rating here. And it's not necessarily the old thing about, it's a new content in OC, but...
Right.
But it's kind of that, though.
Yeah.
If everything is derivative of something, what are you bringing to the table? At least Annabelle was a doll. Right?
Yeah, I think so.
It's it should be the Conjuring universe, right? But they call it the Annabelle universe.
I don't know why.
Because the Conjuring is first, and Annabelle was the creepy doll, but then she got her a movie, and then there's a nun, then there's La Llorona. But it's the Annabelle universe.
I don't even know how you keep it straight, but...
I don't know anything about it. But that's the horror podcast down the street. Let's talk about the news. Well, we finally did it. We finally ran the news well dry.
Ooh.
Yeah, there isn't a whole lot to talk about. We talked about cats earlier, but we have finally hit the bottom of the news barrel as everybody takes a break, I think. Everybody just chills out for the holidays, and the news services take a break. And we just wait to hear if, I don't know, another member of George Michael's family is going to die on the anniversary of his death, which happened. His sister died.
Oh, really?
The same day that he died.
Oh, my gosh.
3 years later. So,
that's so
sad.
That
is incredibly sad. I don't mean to make light of it, but it's
weird.
It's too bad.
Yeah.
So, Billy Lord, watch yourself.
Whoa.
Just kidding.
Wow.
I don't mean to make light of it.
I know.
You can just keep saying that, right? It's like, no offense intended, but it's like, sounds like you're going to offend me.
Seems like there's offense intended, yeah.
Speaking about cats, cats could be headed for a $100 million box office loss.
Wow. That's a big loss.
It will definitely lose.
Again?
Universal. It'll definitely lose. I don't know who does the math on this. It's like who measures Taylor Swift. But speaking of Taylor Swift, it's going to lose at least $71 million just for production costs. And then that's if the projections are right on. If, I don't know, people in January go, wow, these January movies suck. Let's watch Cats.
Yeah.
Then, they might do a little better. But yeah, it could be up to $100 million.
I heard, and I guess this is bringing it back to T Swift, that she's only in the movie for one song.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. Is that why there's so many different people who are in it? Like so many names? Like they're only in it for like one song or something?
I'm not super... all the knowledge I have of Cats comes from, almost 40 years of just being... it's osmotic knowledge from the theater community. I've never actually seen Cats, but I believe that her character is not like a main character. It's one of the main characters of the stage show, but they just kind of reduced her to this one sort of big number.
And I wonder if I heard that she didn't really push a whole lot in her camp for like her fans to like go and see this. And
she's pretty smart though.
Yeah.
She's pretty savvy.
I kind of wonder if like a lot of the people who are in this didn't really push too hard. And was everybody like, this is not gonna do too well? Or did it just kind of fall flat on its face?
You know what would have been really ballsy?
What?
If Francesca Hayward was just like, because when I hear about all the bad notices and I hear about how much money it's losing, I just feel really bad for her, this is her first film, and she is of course looking to break into Hollywood and get more work, and she's probably got a couple things lined up already, but
right, hopefully
somebody, the studio's not going to take the blame. It'll take the general blame. Tom Hooper will be like, well, I don't know anything about cats,
right?
And it's just a job,
right.
Judi Dench is Teflon. Nothing's going to stick to her.
Right.
So who gets the blame?
Yeah.
And even if there's just a sort of general blanket of blame, I feel like it's going to be bad for her.
Yeah.
So I put myself in her pointy shoes and I think like, what do you do? Do you just go, well, you go to the premiere, I guess, or maybe skip the premiere. The night after the premiere, you're like, what a terrible, Tom Hooper grabbed my butt and what a terrible thing. And I hated every second of it.
Wow.
And then, obviously your phone won't ring for 6 months, but then once the dust is cleared, people will be like, she knew that she had to get out of there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Or do you just go do the Peloton girl and just go, oh, I did my best.
Right.
But I guess it's my face. Or whatever she said.
Yeah.
Do you know about this Peloton thing?
I've heard about it.
Screw Geek News. Check this out.
Yeah.
So the Peloton thing is going on. The woman who played the Peloton wife went on like the Today Show. Because that's a thing still.
Yeah.
And she basically like did the opposite of what I suggested that Francesca Hayward do, which is just go on point their ass. No, jete over their problems. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm getting to the end of my my ballet knowledge too.
Yeah.
And she basically didn't necessarily blame it on herself, but she did say, "Oh, it's my face." Like she kind of put it on her. That she has like a sad or scared face or something. And I'm like,
wow,
you don't
did
have
your
to
manager
do this.
tell you to do that?
No.
Like what?
Yeah, you don't have to do this.
No.
So she's doing that. Meanwhile, the guy who plays the husband is like super double down. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I think it's a pretty great company and a great product. And I bought one for my wife. He did an interview recently where he talked about how he bought one for his wife. Now, I didn't watch the clip of the video, but so I can't tell how scared she looked, but
right.
And it's almost like maybe this is they're trying to get inside of our heads and play both sides of it. Because if you're sympathetic to the Peloton wife, dial *19. If you're sympathetic to the weird, sort of right-wingy husband. Then, is that what's going on?
It might be. I don't know.
If only cats had thought this far ahead.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite cat?
I don't think I have one.
# Rum Tum Tugger.
Right. They all have ridiculous names too. Like, why?
Yes. Because it's to blame T.S. Eliot.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I think Memory is probably the best song from that. So, I mean, I feel kind of bad for Jennifer Hudson that, like, they pulled it.
I feel bad about just the kind of, don't see her in much.
Yeah, I know.
After she won the Oscar?
I want to say
yes, casting directors don't know either. And that's, that's what's bad. Well, I hope you, actually, you don't have to wait very long. Hold your breath because there's going to be a Cats joke in Deadpool 3, which is currently in development, confirms Ryan Reynolds, at Marvel Studios.
Okay. Sure, why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Do you think that the leaden balloon of MCU portent can suffer a dead pin from the dead pool?
I think so.
I mean, like, they have jokes and stuff, but they got jokes. But it's not. It's not. You can't have some guy walk in from some other universe, which they'll absolutely do. It's going to start with the snap or Thanos farts and whoop, and then like whoop, he pops Deadpool into our universe.
Yeah, right.
Who are you?
I'm sure it'll be something like that. Yeah. I mean, you already what's his Pierce Brosnan on
Pierce Brosnan?
Not Pierce Brosnan.
Oh man.
Not Pierce Brosnan.
I want to see that.
what's his name? Who plays Thanos? And yeah, I know. Plays Thanos.
Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin. You already had him in Deadpool 2. So
Don't make a joke about that.
Yeah.
Be like, what? Cable? Is that you?
Right, exactly.
You look like you're cosplaying the California Raisins and Michael Jackson was in a transporter accident.
Exactly.
Or something like that.
Yeah. Oh,
wow. It took one movie for his shtick to get old.
I know.
I used to love Deadpool. That means you're growing up. Here's something else that we can look forward to in 2020, fall of 2020 specifically. The Mandalorian is in production and will be airing then. Confirms Jon Favreau.
Season 2. Well, I think it went over really well. We've only seen half of it so far. But I liked it. I don't think it's necessarily groundbreaking, but
I like things that are not really all that groundbreaking.
Well,
stay tuned for our criticism of culture in 2019.
But I thought it was fun, and I thought it was a different way to explore the Star Wars universe. So, I mean,
I think this should have happened 15 years ago.
Oh, yeah,
when they
easily.
were talking about doing it.
Yeah.
Now I think now that we've just, taken the Skywalker saga out behind the cantina and put a blaster bolt in its head.
Yeah.
I think that the pressure is lessened on it being or feeling Star Wars because it can kind of be whatever it wants now.
Yes.
But I think that developing it and having it come out while we were all just choked with this glut of Star Wars stuff was dicey. And, they talked, like I said before when the prequels were like coming out and wrapping up, they were talking about similar things. They were talking about like a Imperial Academy show, or something that probably eventually became Star Wars Rebels, the cartoon show.
Yeah.
But I just think it took this long, and it took to the and let's face it, we're in the tin age of TV at this point. It's not the golden age of TV.
Yeah, I know.
The brass age of TV. But now we have companies like Disney who own and want to launch their own streaming platforms, and they're willing to pay $10 million an episode so you can really do it. I don't think a Star Wars movie has to be super expensive to work.
I don't
but
think
if you were
going
to try to transition people from the movies into your service and also Star Wars on TV, I think this is the way to do it.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I wouldn't mind if they just, did a out of gas episode. Actually, that was a flashback. Firefly. What's the Ryan Johnson episode from Breaking Bad where they're just trying to kill a fly for 50 minutes and everybody thinks it's so freaking great?
Yeah.
They could just do that. Like we're trapped in this escape pod. Let's talk or whatever.
Exactly.
I'm not selling it. Well, if Cats wasn't finished, guess who's not going to have that problem?
Who?
Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman 1984 is completely done.
Oh.
As a film.
Good.
It is. The pick is locked 6 months ahead of its scheduled release in July of next year.
Well,
or June.
They are ready to go then. I think that well, don't you think that that's a good look for DC? It's a good move. Or do you think that they need to be working on movies right up until they get released? So
the first one came out. It'll be 3 years ago, right? 2017, right?
I think so.
So it'll be 3 years once the new one comes out. I mean, that's a good amount of time, especially in a world where you've got a franchise, you've got the DCU and a franchise that you're trying to keep going. I think that's probably right on the mark. But I don't know. You just think I don't know how soon Endgame was locked before, but I would imagine it was not 6 months. No, not 6 months. Maybe 6 weeks, maybe?
Yeah.
6 days? 6 hours in the case of Cats.
Well, I know, right?
So I don't really know what this means. I don't think this has to mean anything necessarily. It just either means that they got everything they wanted. I don't know where they were sitting as far as reshoots go.
Right.
But maybe they just got everything they wanted and we've already seen the trailer. We know there's impressive effects in it. So
yes.
Yeah, maybe it's just a really good team.
Yeah.
Keep this team. Even if Jenkins goes and does something else, take whoever's next and just plug them into this team.
Right.
If make the Flash movie with these guys.
If they can deliver a movie 6 months ahead of time, yeah, absolutely. I think that's definitely
what if they get bonus
positive.
it? No, that's not how movies work. But
no, but
it'd be cool if they got bonuses or something if they did.
Right. Yeah.
6 months or more, or it's free.
Right.
Speaking of Gal Gadot, Gadot.
Yes.
Gadot.
Yeah.
We got it. Gal Gadot is partnering with an Israeli entertainment company for a film adaptation of a novel that was banned from reading lists by the Israeli government.
Okay.
Because it's depiction of an Israeli-Palestinian romance.
Oh, okay.
And she and her husband will be partnering with this company, Keshet Studios, to produce the adaptation.
An Israeli company?
It's an Israeli novel, or a novel in Hebrew, called Border Life.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think that has potential. I think that sounds intriguing. I'm sure it happens. I mean...
I think it's a good look for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's a good step.
It's
back in the right direction.
Right. It's kind of like extending an olive branch, so to speak.
Huh?
No, maybe not.
No. Personally, people criticize her because
she's pro-Israeli.
Are you pro-American?
I guess. I don't know.
All right. Well, you're not surrounded by enemies on all borders.
No.
Watch me play the devil's advocate and the angel's advocate at the same time.
Okay.
But I don't think it's been a lot, but people have criticized her because she has posted things. I only saw like one tweet that was like basically praising the men and women in the Israeli military and like telling them to be safe. Of course, they're all in the Israeli military.
Right. They have to be.
I don't know if I don't want to steal her valor, so I'm going to assume that she did her service.
I'm going to assume that.
Oftentimes, people don't get out of it or don't have to, or they, move. And I'm not saying they're trying to get out of it. I'm just saying,
yeah,
most people serve, but not everybody. It's mandatory, technically.
Yeah.
And I don't see anything necessarily wrong in a post like that. But if somebody that you knew, having the sort of political orientation that you do, which we won't specify, but you'll know what it is when I finish this sentence. And a friend of yours is like, man, I love the troops. How do you like me now, Toby Keith?
Right.
Woo! You'd be like, what?
Fair.
And it doesn't map 1-to-1.
Right.
But a lot of people are like, well, it's not great when the Israeli Defense Force bulldozes Palestinian settlements and shoots rubber bullets in people's faces.
Yeah.
So Gal Gadot has nothing to do with that specifically, but people, I think, read an insensitivity or a lack of awareness in that, and then they go on to assume, a lack of empathy or just hatred and racism,
right?
Which I can't confirm is there.
No,
but I think that this is, this is a step in the right direction, right?
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
It seems like that's a positive.
She shouldn't be in it though.
Oh, okay.
Right.
You think that that's too much? Like her helping back it is one thing, but then actually putting herself in it is too far.
I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I guess I can see that.
I guess I haven't heard or read whether she'll be in it. It seems weird if, you're going to spend all this time producing it and you are somebody who's a star, on the rise, and it's kind of in your age range.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't
you do it? Yeah.
But like, since you're the one who this well, I'm not sure. Is that 100% pure water?
Oh my goodness.
Or is that a hint of poison?
Yeah.
If the well is somewhat poisoned, then why not just foster it and bring it to fruition? And I haven't read the book, but supposedly an uplifting tale of equality. Yeah, don't put yourself in there.
Yeah, I hear you. Kind of a bad look.
Yeah. Margot Robbie. Oh, you thought we were talking about Gal Gadot? Margot Robbie's got to stop putting herself in. She wants to be a producer. Just produce some stuff. You don't have to be in everything.
Right. Yeah, I hear you.
Which would satisfy you.
I've given her kind of a bad rap, but
you've come a long way.
She's grown on me a little bit. So.
Baby, first episode of this show was you ragging on
right?
Margot Robbie. So 339 hours, never an hour later, and you've come around.
Yeah, she's not so bad.
Yeah, I can't wait for Birds of Prey.
Well,
I'll have to reboot the show and start from scratch. One more story that's kind of more in the enterprising individuals wheelhouse, but I'll keep it short. People are talking to Simon Pegg, and if you know anything about Simon Pegg, and I don't, So I guess I'll just stop right there.
Okay.
But I take him as an affable guy, definitely a nerd.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of money thanks to Mission Impossible movies.
Yes.
And then I saw a weird like Carrot Top video the other day where he's getting really buff for some reason. It's always scary when funny guys get buff.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
But then I saw a video the other day, and I think he's just losing weight. I don't think he's going nuts. But somebody asked him about Star Trek 4 because, of course, it was announced that Noah Hawley would be making the next Star Trek movie.
Yes.
And when people ask him things now, I think he just tells you what it is.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just being like fed up or like past the point in your life where you have to like be real nice and just
keep
tell it like it is,
or
if it's a little Guinness in there. But he's like, yeah, I haven't heard anything about that, and since I wrote the last one, nobody's talked to me.
Whoa!
So if they're doing Star Trek 4 and I'm not writing it, and they're going to have to go and talk to everybody else and get us all back, which honestly we kind of don't want to do now that Anton's gone.
Yeah. Right.
Or it's a completely different thing. So now we don't know if his Star Trek movie is going to be Star Trek 4 featuring the Kelvin universe cast.
Right.
Something completely different. And, of course, the reporter, being a good interviewer, followed up with, what about the Tarantino movie? And he said, I think it's still in the mix.
Really?
Now,
he's spilling the tea.
Well, yeah, and I haven't gone back and checked his, because people have asked him questions before because he knows a lot of these guys, J.J. Abrams and stuff like that. I can't go back and speak for the veracity of his predictions or his, whatevers, but I get the sense that he has been very wrong before.
No.
So, plus they let him write the last one.
I know.
So I think he knows what he's talking about, and now I'm totally confused.
I'm very confused. I was really excited about the idea that Noah Hawley was going to be directing one, because I think he's a great director. I hope that is still the case, and maybe they just haven't gotten around to talking to people about writing it yet. I don't know.
Something they should get on.
Yeah, it is. I agree. But that's weird. And then him saying that I think that the Tarantino one is still in the mix, because Tarantino supposedly was like, I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. So what is it? I'm thoroughly confused now.
If you had to pick one, you're at a wild Hollywood party. Somebody hands you a gun, and Noah Hawley and Quentin Tarantino both go on their knees. Who makes Star Trek 4?
Noah Hawley.
Yeah, well, no hesitation there.
No. I mean, I think Tarantino could make an interesting film, but I think Noah Hawley has shown that he really can understand like the source material and make a good story out of it.
I honestly don't disagree. I mean, I really would, I think, like to see a totally one-shot, canonless Quentin Tarantino take on Star Trek in the way that I've talked about, maybe on this show, because Enterprising Individuals is on hiatus, so I can't remember, but I've talked about the fact that, if you're going to pimp out Star Trek's little ass, let's do it.
Right.
And they're trying. They're doing cartoons. They're doing, all these shows. They're doing this and that. But if you're going to do it, let's go for it.
Yeah.
Let's Robot Chicken it. They're doing that with the Rick and Morty cartoon show. And and they're Nickelodeon. So
yes,
let's do it. Now, know that not all those are going to work.
Right.
And so when they don't, you just cut them off and you contract and then you find what does work. But yeah, we should definitely take it all the way around the horn. And if Quentin Tarantino wants to be part of that experience, then bring it on, I say.
I agree with you.
That being said, Noah Hawley should definitely make this next movie.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, come on.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, 110%. So.
Is Lou Ferrigno going to be involved?
That would be something, wouldn't it? Have him play like a bad guy or something.
He came too late to be an alien, I think. I think he was still like competing, or probably very young when Star Trek, the original, was on.
Probably very young when that came on.
Yeah, back in the 60s, like, if you were a big guy, you were just tall.
Right?
you were just a tall guy, 6'4" with a gut.
Right.
That's a strong man. I guested on a wrestling podcast recently, and we were talking about the fact that like big guys back then were different. The musculature was different. It's just like a different time
era.
and age. Even if you look at like Charles Atlas, like entry level of WWE now is like the Charles Atlas body, and then we're just gonna stack natural and unnatural things on top of that. But the most important thing back then, now too, definitely, but one of the most important things back then was just the ability to talk.
Oh, sure. That's a huge part of wrestling.
To talk, to be animated. If you couldn't do that and you were huge, you're fine. Then you don't have to say anything like Andre the Giant. We don't expect that from you. But if any other size, you'd have to. And if these guys weren't like 6'2" or 6'3", or didn't have a little more like upper body strength, they'd just be car salesmen, or they'd be in advertising or something like that. Yeah. But they're the guy at the gym that like won't shut up. That's who becomes a wrestler.
Right.
Otherwise, you just flex and that's it.
Yeah.
Or you become the governor of California. Well, 2019 is slowly draining the last of its La Croix from the can, giving it a couple shakes.
Yeah. Oh.
A little more.
Making fun of how I drink my sparkling water. Well, I got you to laugh.
Takes
All right.
12 sips.
Wait,
anybody else, at the point where you would just throw the can away, she takes about 12 sips.
I want to make sure I got every last drop.
You know, you can just like rip the foil, the aluminum open, and then just run your finger along the inside, and then on the ground like that. And
refreshing.
The memory of watermelon, yeah. And I just don't. I was, in preparation for this sort of recap, look back show. I was just looking at some of the stuff that's come out, and it's like everything is like okay. And not really great.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
I've had some did we promise people a Witcher review? Here's my Witcher review. Bad. I've had some like real disappointments. Everybody, I've been screaming about this for years on the show, and I think the chickens are finally coming home to roost. I think I have like mathematical proof of the Fat Springfield theory, which is when people like Homer become reviewers and give everything 7 thumbs up, everybody goes, wow, I never realized how good everything was. And it isn't really like about good and bad. And I don't think entertainment should be about good and bad. Like wrestling, for instance.
Sure.
Enjoy what you enjoy, but don't come into my house, the art house, and try to tell me that this is like great and this
stuff.
Isn't. Like if you love The Witcher video game and the books and you're loving the show, fantastic. But it is not a good show, and you cannot tell me it is a good show.
No. I thought it was very inconsistent, and honestly
I thought it was consistently confusing.
It was very confusing, and honestly I thought a little boring. And you said a couple of times, why don't they have him fighting monsters? Like,
well, he fights a monster at the very beginning, so you know what he is. He fights monsters, and his eyes turn black or whatever, and then we're not going to see that now for a while.
Yeah, which is kind of disappointing. And he hangs around this town after, like, people have, like, made requests of him, and he's basically made it clear, I'm not going to do what you ask me to because I'm my own boss.
Right.
Why don't
You're a
leave?
freak, Witcher. You mutant. Yeah. Get out of here. Yeah. And
why
it's
don't
like,
you leave and go somewhere else?
And I've read like lesser reviews that say like, oh, it's so great. In the first 5 minutes, you know what's going on. I see a guy fighting a spider. I don't know what that is necessarily. No, just so you know, I have played the game. A couple of them or one of them. So I get it. Like, I know what's going on, but that doesn't really tell me anything. And then I know that people hate Witchers. You know how I know? Because they say the same thing over and over to him. A bunch of generic guys who you know aren't going to be in the second episode because they're just stunt actors are like, get out of here, Witcher. We don't like you. We don't like your kind around here. We get it. I understand. There are better, subtler, more story-forward and storytelling ways to let me know that Witchers are hated and feared.
Right.
But that doesn't matter because immediately we're off to like the booby tower, which is like, did you guys just want to make sure that all the horny dudes who are watching this show didn't have to wait, until episode 4 or 5 to like get a legitimate sex scene. We're just going to let you know that there's boobs right now.
I think so.
It's just so juvenile.
It is. And it's kind of disappointing for Netflix.
And honestly, I don't like Henry Cavill at all, but
no.
he's actually probably doing an okay job.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just my experiences with The Witcher, he's just like, he has that stupid voice and he goes all the time. Like he's just, Henry Cavill's just watched the game or played the game.
Yeah.
And he's just doing that.
Yeah.
Now, I think that maybe a writer, a showrunner, and the star could all get together and go, how do we evolve this character instead of just being this guy from this game made by people who don't speak English as a first language.
Right.
But they haven't really done that.
No.
And so they're just spouting like, let's do this, let's do that. The Blarbigans are on the Flarbigan. Many moons ago, the Fruckerdukes came with the Freeberdeeps. And it's like, none of this matters. And you didn't give us a Galadriel telling us the whole thing at the beginning.
Right,
I know
right,
that's been done, but that's a good way to let us know the name of the world that they're in, the country that they're in,
how the Witcher fits in with everybody
and
else.
then by the end of the first episode, none of it matters because it all gets wiped out anyway. And I just felt like, I know that they want to start with a bang, but you could have taken that story of him playing the sort of Yojimbo to the girl who's being hunted, but also the wizard that she's hunting, and then the conflict, I guess, between two kingdoms, which is just like, everything's fine. Everything's not fine, and I'll be dead in about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just too much. It's too fast.
It's too much.
There's
And
no way to
then,
care about any of it.
And then like the princess has like some sort of screaming power, which seems like it's new. Like she doesn't seem to understand
It's a
what
Black
it is.
Widow or Black Canary origin story.
Yeah, it is. And then like she like, I mean, I guess, do we do spoilers for the first episode? I don't know.
Yeah, everybody's watched this show except for us.
So she gets kidnapped towards the end of the episode, and she doesn't think to use this superpower right when she's getting kidnapped. She does it like when they're like right by this tower.
I don't think she gets what the power is or how it works.
Yeah, but she does it by this tower, and it's so powerful that it knocks this tower down.
Well, anyway,
and creates a crevice.
Yeah, well,
so
I mean,
he can't follow her.
And that all happened in the book, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Actual spoiler alert: she is a character later on.
Okay.
She becomes like something of a Witcher herself later on.
Sure.
I think that's the same character.
Okay.
But yeah, it just there's nothing there. And then I hear like, it's got the best sword fighting on TV. It's like, you could have the best sword fighting, but if you don't capture it with the best cameras and cinematography, and I don't know what's going on,
I just thought the whole thing was confusing, and we moved from character to character, and I'm like, how is this character related to this character? How are they? It just was all throughout confusing.
Yeah, and the sound mixing is weird too. I found it hard to pick out a lot of these words. I couldn't like.
I did too. Like, were they mumbling?
I think it's just accent combined with just the sound mix and music and everything else is going on. I don't know. I just found very little to like about it. And here's the thing. I don't have to give it a chance because there's a million other things that I can be disappointed by.
Yes.
Like Parasite. Parasite is the movie we're all shitting our pants over this year. It will almost definitely win. In fact, I think it's just going to win Best Foreign Language Film at the Oscars. And maybe it deserves it. I don't think that it's a bad film by any stretch.
Right.
I just don't know why people are losing their minds over it. Like, I've never heard anybody say anything bad about it. Am I talking now? I don't even know. I can't hear myself say bad things about it. I'm the only person I've ever heard say something bad about it. And I just think it's too long. It's for, that I'm no fan of Bong Joon-ho's stuff. I think that's his name. But at least you could say it goes for it. Like, I didn't really like Snowpiercer all that much, but Snowpiercer is like, that's balls to the wall movie. It's out there.
Sure.
And this is just sort of kind of restrained and kind of conventional. Like, if these people were white and this movie was 90 minutes long, I could see this on like as a Lifetime, My Nanny Tried to Steal My Life or something like that kind of movie. Like, I know that, there is a context to the idea of economic struggle in South Korea, which I understand and I've read articles about, but I don't see what the commentary that this film is making on that. It seems like it's kind of going somewhere and then real goofy stuff happens. I don't want to spoil anything.
No, but I think And I
Bong
think you
Joon-ho.
called this really early on. It's really very predictable throughout most of the film. I mean, there's this one twist that happens, and maybe I did not predict that twist, but I would say, and there's maybe a couple other things that happen that I maybe didn't predict, but I would say on the whole, it's very predictable, and that just kind of makes it boring and just not entertaining. And I think maybe one reason why people are freaking out about it is because it's a foreign film. I think if this had been an American-made film, I don't think people would be talking about it. And I think that another reason why they're so shocked by it is the twist, which I just don't think, like, once you see it, once you witness it, is it really that much of a twist? Is it really? I mean, I know people lost their minds over Sixth Sense because of the twist, but after you've seen it once, isn't it just kind of like, we get it?
I think you're on the wrong track. I don't think
so?
that this movie has that kind of twist.
Okay.
Does it?
I don't know.
No.
Maybe not.
In fact, that kind of twist is the kind of twist that the real question is, does the movie have any value now that I know the twist?
Right.
The Fight Club twist,
Yes.
the Sixth Sense twist, the Shyamalan twist.
Yeah.
Which, come on, baby, let's do it again. The Shyamalan twist. But this is like, when stuff starts popping off and characters start acting in totally unmotivated, unbelievable ways, it kind of ruins everything that came before. Like, what was... I always talk about how in a quote-unquote thriller, you gotta have a gun at the end. Yeah. It's the laziest, hackiest thing in the world. This woman is trapped between two lovers or whatever, and then the lovers find out about each other. And I'm not saying that this isn't what people go for, but like, what if they all confronted each other and they were angry? The movie Closer, which is based on a stage play, people like that movie. There's no gun in that movie. 4 people commit social suicide. They murder themselves yelling at each other, and nobody dies, and yet you feel more emotion than, oh no, Diane Lane's got a gun, everybody. Yeah, that's what this felt like to me, only in Korea. They don't got guns in Korea, so the knives come out. I know. And the hatchets.
I actually hated Closer. I hated that movie.
Every woman I know does, and I think that means something. It's
I
really
just,
sexist.
I don't like how the characters are portrayed. Nobody is likable.
No, but nobody is likable in the Parasite either.
No, you're absolutely right.
But there's an opportunity to make them likable because the family is... And I'm not saying that we have to cleave towards a stereotype of the lovable grifter, but when they are... There's like superheroes in like the first act of the movie. They're like clicking and it's like an Ocean's 11 movie. Yeah. And then they all become very dumb and very like unlikable for the rest of the film. And I just don't understand why. They're parasites, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
So like I said, I wouldn't say that movie's bad, but I don't know. It just kind of let me down. I'm sure we've had worse in the past. Like The Handmaiden is not my favorite Park Chan-wook movie, but I think it was better than this.
I think so too. Yeah.
So who knows? Stoker. This is about the level of a Stoker.
Yeah.
Look, I love Korean cinema.
Yeah, I do too.
And I'm worried about Korean, filmmakers coming over here, and we're having the Hong Kong Exodus thing, where it's like, wow, what a great movie, Ring the Lamb. Maybe we should go do something else. So we got that. Like The Witcher, like I said, not really disappointed. Didn't expect much and don't think it's well made. But this one kind of let me down. And another thing that let me down, probably the least of these three, is Booksmart.
Yeah.
I heard a lot about Booksmart.
Yep.
The directorial debut of Olivia Wilde, and I don't think she has a writer's credit, but I think I've heard her say that it's based a lot on kind of her own experiences as a teenager in high school and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, it's the Superbad. I don't want to like limit it to just call it a Superbad movie, but it's following 2 nerdy girls, on the last night of their senior year and them getting into crazy antics.
Right.
But from a female perspective.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I'm in. Great. And the first half hour of the movie is supercharged. It's great. Mm-hmm. And they set up a real great premise. And then it just sort of runs down to the end.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. I guess I'd heard such good things about it and I was expecting good things. And it's not like I don't think it's bad. I just don't think it's as good as everyone has been saying.
Yeah, people really, really like this movie.
I think maybe it's partially because we have one character who is queer and she's out, but she hasn't dated anybody, and there's this, there's a couple of scenes in it where it's like, it's kind of awkward, but it's it's like a positive in a way, because it's like, well, she's trying to get out there, but both characters are kind of trying to get out there and party for their last night, because they had never partied before.
I don't think. Okay, so orientation or gender preference aside, I thought that like she was just the Michael Cera character who wants to make it with the other character, and I thought that was fine. What I didn't get and I didn't hate, and I can't remember the actresses' names. I'm not gonna look them up, but the one that wasn't gay, she's gonna be huge. Don't you think? She was great.
She was great.
Yeah.
I thought she was very entertaining.
But I didn't understand why she was so such a nerd, and so not socially inept, but so not interested in that. Maybe it's okay. Maybe I didn't get the movie. Maybe this is what it's supposed to be, because then she gets with her crush, and they're like a house on fire. They're like totally getting on. And you thought, okay, I know that you want to focus on your studies, but if you had like this much game in you, you could have had like a nice hand-holding boyfriend or something like that in high school. What was the problem?
Right.
You're killing this guy.
I think she just was talking about how she chose to study because she thought, that would help her get into the school that she wanted to. And she got into the school she wanted to. But like, like a big part of the movie is she finds out all these people who are,
That's the premise of the movie.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I thought it was all right. Out of all the things that we've talked about so far, I think I probably...
Oh, no. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I just, if it's trying to do, and it's not fair to really rate it next to a earlier movie, or is it? You came out in the wake of another movie.
Yeah.
You came out after Superbad. You tried to do Superbad, and you didn't top Superbad.
Right.
And don't give me the whole, well, it's more about emotions for girls and stuff like that. That's not what you're trying to do. You're trying to make a raunchy comedy, and that's cool. But Superbad had like the subplot with McLovin, and it had all this crazy stuff going on, and it had great, I'm sure they improvised on this movie too, but they had the great improvisational dialogue between the big one and the little one.
Yeah.
I don't remember the names. And so, I just, it was frustrating. And then what was the Barbie doll thing in the middle of it?
That was weird. I think
it just didn't. I understand. Like, I get what you're trying to do. I think it's good commentary, but make it last or apply to something. Is there some part that I watched it on a plane, so maybe something was cut out, but I didn't. How does it come back? How does it inform their journey so far? The movie just stops for a stop motion thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, they're on drugs, but wait. They are completely fine as soon as the sequence is over. Yeah.
They threw up from that stuff that Billy Lord gave them. My final question. Did Billy Lord draw upon her mother's experiences to play this character?
That is entirely possible.
Who was totally drugged out the entire time.
Yeah, I know.
Was she playing her mom in the 70s?
Maybe.
That is what I need to know. Because if it's true, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, things are just like fine, but just not great.
I have one
Wither
thing.
the moonlights of previous years.
I know. I have one thing I'd like to talk about real quick that was disappointing in 2019.
That's okay. I mean, I was going into a thing, but let's do yours.
I thought season 8 of Game of Thrones was just kind of...
Wow, what a hot take.
Well, I know, but I just felt like it was rushed and it was thoughtless and like...
It was all thoughtless.
It was terrible.
I've said this for years.
You
Everybody
think so?
loves Game of Thrones. I always looked around and went, what are you guys talking about? Like, it's popcorn. It's fine. But people are like, it's the best show on TV. It's not even in the top 10. It's never been that great.
Well, I always enjoyed it, and I just did not enjoy the season at
Nobody
all.
was really, I guess people were kind of talking about it, but really the talking started post Red Wedding.
Yeah.
I think some people were watching it. A lot of people weren't. And people heard about Red Wedding.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we got to watch this. I know that's not the only thing that got me in. I can't remember what else got me in. I think I had some friends who I was hanging out with who were also watching it. But I never thought it was that good. The dialogue is not great. whoever's writing the dialogue, they're good at writing these speeches where some character sits with another character and they're like, that day that something happened, anybody can write those. And then there's all these characters that are just, like I said before, like the Witcher character. Get out of here, Witcher.
Yeah,
We don't like you. There's just a lot of stuff like that. A lot of people who's like, I don't know this guy, so I know he's going to get a dagger through his face before the scene's over.
Yeah.
There's just too much nudity, and it's just, it replaces content.
I just felt like...
Or it's a replacement for.
It really let itself down this season. Like, I mean, from the huge battle scenes that were, like, too dark... And like
it's your TV.
Yeah, well, and then like the paper cup left in the scene, and then Benioff and Weiss, like, what were they even doing?
Oh, they
like,
told us.
They told us they weren't doing anything.
Yeah, they were at in Austin, and they said, "Oh, we didn't know what we were doing,"
which is just horrible. And I'm very upset with how they ended things with a lot of the characters. Like, I think Cersei and Jaime did not deserve to be crushed by the castle.
Okay, all right. So this is treading ground, right?
You think so?
Yes.
Okay,
I guess I didn't know that you had so much passion for it still.
There's a lot of things that I don't like about it. And I'm sorry, Tyrion, but Bran the Broken does not have the best story. You have a better story.
These are the coldest takes.
Whatever. I'm just... so upset about season 8.
I'm looking forward to Confederate, though, I do have to say.
Oh, stop it.
No. Their new project is Lovecraft.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, my God, you guys. Come on.
I know. It's terrifying.
What if we give them... We'll do a one-on, one-off. So they get to do what they want, but then they get assigned something. So the next thing is they have to make a straight drama about the life of Sojourner Truth.
Oh my God.
Right?
That's going to be so hard
then
for
you
them.
can do your whatever you want.
Yeah.
Something Forest, the founder of the KKK, not as bad as you've heard. Birth of the Nation, Part 0, the prenatal of the nation. Do whatever you want. Then next one up, it's going to be about Bobby Kennedy or something like that.
Okay.
And then the next one you want to do, you can do a story about the time that Nazi soccer team really got it together and beat the Swiss.
Wow.
And then you got to go back and...
then you have to do a special about Rosa Parks.
Yeah, okay, we did Sojourner Truth. How about Gay Cats with Cancer, right?
Oh, okay,
This is a documentary
Yeah.
about caring for these cats who are just trying to be themselves and also fight this horrible disease. Right?
Yes.
Then they can do whatever they want.
Yeah. I think we can
It's like
make a case
Dinesh
for that.
D'Souza. He makes these batshit documentaries about how bad everybody is. If he's such a great investigator and he's not biased, then do one about how bad the conservatives are in the next one.
Right.
So I want to see, Obama's America. And then the next one is the Trump hellscape.
Right.
And then the next one is the Biden shithole or whatever.
Yeah,
if that's really what you're doing.
Right. Let's have some hot takes in the other direction.
That's never going to work. Yeah, that's why I wanted to hear some takes from you about how good Game of Thrones was in its last season. We don't have that kind of time. We got to move on. And I just feel like there is a epidemic of auteurs, quote unquote, selling out. Now, I don't believe that selling out is really a thing.
Okay.
Necessarily.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you know that I never blame actors for anything.
Rarely.
For bad performances, for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't blame them for, riding a character into the ground. The Spinal Tap guys. Keep doing it. Whatever.
Right.
You own it. Or even Henry Cavill. He's just trying to get a job. He's just trying to ply his trade. I get it. But who's the auteur? And I would propose in this case it's the director. And we've seen a lot of directors and creators recently kind of going Hollywood. Mm-hmm. Yorgos Lanthimos would be the big one I can think of. Yeah. He was making great movies before anybody had heard about The Favorite.
Yep.
And I think The Favorite it's another Booksmart, for instance. It's fun.
Passable. Yeah.
It's even better than passable. It's
okay,
a high.
Sure.
It's B plus A minus.
Sure.
But you just came off of 4 A's.
I know.
Why now?
Right.
The Safdie brothers.
Who's that?
The Safdie brothers. Heaven Can Wait. No, it wasn't Heaven Can Wait. That's a Dick Tracy movie.
Oh, okay.
Warren Beatty movie. What was it? Just Like Heaven. Just Like Heaven. Good Time. right?
Okay.
They're a pair of brother filmmakers. They
Yeah.
make these like cinema verite type movies that
Okay.
are kind of like Aronofsky meets early Danny Boyle, but not funny.
Okay.
And they can be funny. There's absurdity in them, but
Sure.
so they're just like these horrible tales of people who are usually poor and on drugs, and so Tarantino's like, oh, crimes and drugs is funny, and this is like, no, it's not. This is terrible.
Okay.
And they're usually populated with like, Robert Pattinson was in the last one, but they're with lesser known actors or like stage actors or just people that people don't know. Caleb blah blah flip flip, the guy who was the brother in Get Out, like he was in.
Okay.
I still think it's called Just Like Heaven, but I'm not sure. Like he kind of, it was one of his first movies.
Okay.
Anyway, they're great. Their new film, Uncut Gems, is already made more, not only for a Safdie Brothers movie, but it's like the highest grossing film A24 has ever produced.
Really?
And it stars Adam Sandler.
I know it does.
Yeah.
I've seen the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it yet. I'm actually looking forward to seeing it. I'm sure it's great. But
Seems like...
why do you need Emma Stone and Adam Sandler
Yeah, I know.
to get these good movies out?
Yeah, right.
And you've made it, buddy.
Right. Is there anyone else who you think kind of like fits in that?
A lot of these Korean directors.
Yeah.
But some of that's just coming to the American marketplace in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that Lady Vengeance is, better than any movie that he's made stateside.
Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah.
Old Boy.
Old Boy. Old Boy was really good.
Yeah.
That's a crazy movie.
Yeah, but it lets you know exactly what's happening. It isn't like social commentary for 2 hours and then the last hour or half an hour is Old Boy. And you're like, what?
Well, right, true. You know what you're getting into, so yeah.
Would you put anything into that bucket?
Oh, like an auteur that's kind of sold out? Man, I don't know. It's hard for me to think of somebody. I mean, recently. I don't know. I mean, I feel like Disney is kind of like trying.
Baby Yoda.
Well, no, I wasn't gonna say
It's the year of Baby Yoda, everybody.
I wasn't gonna say Baby Yoda. I was gonna say all of their live action movies.
Live action Baby Yoda.
So
it's just a baby with a serious skin condition that's very sick.
Oh, but I just think that and those movies have done fairly well, but I just think it's kind of overkill.
Dip it into the secondhand well.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not a great metaphor.
No.
Along those lines, Konami, who seems bound and determined to remake every single Resident Evil game there is.
Yeah.
And they're all nostalgic and eminently playable. But it's just, I've played these games 20 years ago.
Right. That's more or less the same game with a different skin on it, basically. Right?
Yeah, it's like they hit a wall with Resident Evil 6 and a lot of their other franchises, and then made 7, which was sort of like a path in another direction. But then how do they follow that up? Mm-hmm. Oh, boy, we don't know. Let's just remake all our old games. It'd be like if you were waiting for the Rise of Skywalker is going to bring the saga to a close. But first, here's a remake of Phantom Menace. And then a remake of Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, I don't want
a remake
that.
of... better movies than those.
Yeah. But still, no, I'm good. Thanks. Don't want to relive the prequels. I'm done with that.
Well, speaking of being done with stuff, are we done complaining? Because we want to be positive from here on out. So if there's anything we want to complain about, say it now.
There's one other thing, and I think you might agree with me. I'm not on board with the short treks this season.
Oh, they're kind of,
They just were disappointing. I really like Spock #1 and Captain Pike, and was glad we got to see them again. But I just wish that they were telling us more, because I feel like
that number one's probably the best one this year.
Yeah, you're right. That one is probably the best one.
If you don't count the animated ones.
Yeah. The one animated one where it's like he's telling her the bedtime story. That one's pretty good too. But otherwise, I just think that they didn't know what they wanted to do with them, and it was like, well, we gotta tell these stories, so we'll just come up with something. And I feel like the previous season, they had an idea of what they wanted to do, and most of them added to the overall story of Discovery, and like characters came back and like moments came back, and I thought they had a nice way of calling back to it. And some of them are like really short and like too short to like really say much of anything. Like the one where Captain Pike tricks like is she even an ensign yet? I don't even know.
She's a cadet still.
She's a cadet still, like into like a weird, horrible situation. Like, why would Starfleet do anything like that?
Because they are monsters who psychologically torture their recruits, apparently.
Yeah, and then she's like totally fine with it. She's like, right. I'm on board.
Right.
Let's do this.
Right. And that was 7 minutes. What if the second half, the next 7 minutes, were her trying to deal with the fact that her hero, Captain Pike, basically gaslit her across the galaxy?
Yes. I was just not on board
and then
with
maybe
that.
her deciding at the end, I don't know if I'm cut out for this. Oh no, you passed the test. She's like, if this is going to be like this every day, I don't know if this is for me.
Right.
But make it a guy instead, so we're not showing a girl like quitting because it's too tough. Yeah,
wow.
They don't. Well, hey, I'm trying to help out.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're doing, and this is part of like what I said before. They need to try stuff. They need to throw everything against the wall.
Yeah.
And there's things are going to fail, but this isn't enough. There isn't enough meatballs in this spaghetti that we threw against the wall. And someone hits the Odd Couple now.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Short Text 3. We're going to do the Odd Couple. It's kind of Spock and Kirk are already the Odd Couple.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or McCoy. They shouldn't have ran out of ideas this fast. And like it's
agree.
clear that they are kind of out of ideas.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to turn this into a super franchise, you gotta have more ideas than this.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, stop complaining.
All right, done.
Live action Baby Yoda's here. He needs his burlap diaper changed. Let's talk about some of the things that we really liked from the year 2019. And I was sort of looking through a lot of the things that came out and having that same kind of feeling of, okay. And a lot of it is from TVs to movies and so on, even the video games, Resident Evil 2 remake.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it is like sequels, retreads. This is a problem that we've had for a while in Hollywood, but just really felt it this year. It's all franchise this, and
it really is.
Half the movies are Marvel movies, and so you're out if you don't like those. And even if you do, there's things that you like more than you other things, and so it's trying to cut through that. What about like TV? Did you have a pick or picks for TV this year?
I did. I have, I guess, kind of two that are kind of TV related. First, for the second year in a row, I really enjoyed The Expanse. And that was like one of my picks from last year, but I have to pick it again this year. It's a solid show. It's great writing. You care about the characters. You care when they make mistakes, and that happens all the time. And they're not making easy decisions. And I think they make sci-fi fun and compelling to watch. And I want to keep showing up for these characters.
I feel like, if I can just cut in on your thing, I feel like the show has been, what do I want to say? I think it's been getting more formulaic year after year as it goes.
Okay.
Because that first year was like Game of Thrones in space. Like, you didn't know who anybody was or what the stakes were. And by the time we got to like the last half of season 3, they're just chasing Jules Pierre Mao through corridors, and there's like blue monsters, and it was just like, okay, well, this is just like a sci-fi thing. And I think the show came back in good form for season 4, but it felt as more commoditized than it ever has. Yeah. Which is not, I mean, in any sci-fi, like it's Supernatural. Like Supernatural's like, well, Dean, we gotta kill this monster that turns humans into fruit roll-ups or whatever. Right. And then like at the end of it, they're like, oh, still got to find her dad or whatever. And they touch on whatever the meta plot is.
Right.
And then they just keep going.
Yeah.
And this just felt to me like, and maybe they're going to parse it out like this. Here's the problem. There's this planet. So the whole season's going to be this planet.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of like kind of suggesting more things for the future. But if you don't like this planet and you didn't like the fact that this space show is on a planet, hold your breath because
you're kind of SOL.
We're going to be on this planet for a while.
I know.
And I didn't know how I felt about that. But the fact that the show still exists is a miracle and is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably the one good thing Jeff Bezos has ever done in his life.
I agree. And we had some characters exit the show this year. I won't get into details. I don't want to spoil it because it just came out not that long ago.
Good.
I do have one question, though, which I don't think is a huge spoiler. How old do you think Naomi was when she had her kid?
There's a lot of this going around because you get the idea that Avasarala is an older woman.
Yes.
And she had kids in like the first season, didn't she? She was like
I don't
hanging
know if
out
it was
with him.
her kid or her grandson.
See, I thought it was grandson, but now I'm just figuring it's kid because I don't think it necessarily matters how old you are when you have a kid. Maybe it's something about the future, but she was probably very young. But she was a freedom fighter, terrorist, refugee.
I know.
And then like the doctor in this, the Beltalowda doctor who was, inadvertently part of the disaster that happened. She's like, here's my 17-year-old daughter. And it's like, are you 27? Because none of this makes any sense.
Yeah.
What does space do to your genitals? Be ready, Baby Yoda. I don't envy Mando that talk.
Yeah. Do you have what's your pick for TV?
Well, I was looking at a lot of things, and there's a lot of things that I forgot were in 2019. Remember Russian Doll?
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah. Which I enjoyed. I also wouldn't. It's tough to step into the Groundhog Day ring and really put your mark on it.
Mm-hmm.
And they tried. They really tried.
Yes.
And I don't know the background of anybody involved, but it also had to be about video games. And I don't know if that was the person was thinking about video games when they wrote it, because that is a very video game scenario.
Right.
How do I get out of this
I keep dying.
room? How do I find the key? Or
right.
But it was not in it enough. Maybe they didn't want to turn off non-video game people, or maybe it was literally just an afterthought, and then it got wrote into the script. But I didn't really. It wasn't as integrated as I felt it should be, and it went on. The last 2 episodes, it ends fine, but it probably kind of dropped like the last episode or 2, and it also would have ended like, okay,
right,
we're satisfied.
Right, I hear you.
But that was great. Boy, I almost my whole like hipster thing kicks in, and I don't want to like it because everybody likes it. But season 2 of Fleabag was pretty good. I'm just mad there's not going to be a season 3.
I liked season 2 of Fleabag a lot.
And also,
I am kind of mad there's
wasn't
not
it supposed to be this ongoing thing of her, trying to get her life on track? We see that character.
Yeah.
But then she's immediately like, okay, now we take that character and we put her in love. And it's like, okay, but once you do that and her heart is broken, she'll never be that character again.
Right.
So I guess I'm on board now with her
With
not doing a third
being,
one. I wish this had been the 3rd season of Fleabag and we got another like crazy 2nd season.
I see what you're saying.
But that being said, it's great. I felt like Andrew Scott took over the show a little too much. Because it's supposed to be Fleabag, not Hot Priest.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that was great. I
liked her sister in this season a lot, too.
Yeah, she got a lot more to do.
Yeah.
I almost made this my pick of the year. Sex Education on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
All the crap that's on Netflix. And a show from, I don't even know who these people are, but made a pretty good show. A lot of actors who I think are hopefully going places. They're very good.
I really enjoyed that show, too.
It got a little conventional near the end. I was having not an argument, but a discussion with my co-host on Discoverage, Ella Pearson, who is a media studies student. And so I was like, come on, man, your quirky high school show ends like at the prom. And she's like, yeah, but what high school show doesn't end at a prom? And I guess...
Fair, but still, why would it go the conventional route? You've been so unconventional so far.
And remember, these people are British, right?
Yes.
So they are Brits, ostensibly in Britain.
Yes.
It never rains. Gillian Anderson lives in a log cabin on a river valley that looks like Northern California.
Yeah.
They wear leather jackets at the school. There's no football in England. That's a different thing in
fair.
England.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's like a British show cosplaying as an American show. So clearly they are doing a thing and I'm wrong. This is all part of the pitch.
Okay. So maybe it's supposed to not quite be real. Maybe they're supposed to be like this kind of
it's already
surreal version feeling
heightened
about
reality.
It. Yeah, it is.
I
think so too.
These kids get a lot of play.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, I think it's a really good show. I really enjoyed watching it.
Did you have another pick?
My we already talked about this a little bit, but my choice for best new TV show character is actually Baby Yoda.
Okay.
Took the internet by storm, and I think he kind of was the breakout star of The Mandalorian, starring Pedro Pascal, who I also really enjoy, and I think he does a good job.
You know, that's not always Baby Yoda in the suit.
I know what you're doing. But I love Baby Yoda. I think he's incredibly cute. They did such a good job on the puppet. And I think this was like a super good idea. You know, like they took a baby version of a beloved character who we don't know that much about the species, and they just made a baby. I mean, it's just like...
Yeah, but like baby Admiral Akbar, baby Rancor, like what's
those
next?
would all be cute.
Baby
Seriously.
I think they did that in the Ewok movie or something, didn't they? I can't remember.
I don't know. But as you said, you know, him and Babu Freak can like beat it out.
I want young, not baby, but young Babu Freak.
Okay.
Let's have him show up in The Mandalorian.
I'd like to see that.
He's just getting his start.
Yeah.
He's out of Babu Technical College.
Yes.
Partied a little too much. Hey! And like he doesn't know what he wants to do with himself. Eventually he'll become a droid repairman on Felicity's planet or whatever it's called. Yeah. But yeah.
I've seen a couple of tweets where people are like, let's see a Babu Freak and a Baby Yoda buddy cop movie. Do it, you cowards. It's like...
Sure.
But I think it, you know, unfortunately they didn't really do merchandise until the episode had come out. But, you know.
But you can make your cookies and
yes,
your baby Yoguritas.
Yes, exactly.
Whatever.
Your mom made us Baby Yoda cookies. That was pretty awesome.
Tell everybody that.
Yeah, I will.
I'm going to say, I don't think this has ever been on my list before because I never really thought about it. And now that it's almost gone, I'm really finally starting to appreciate it. But I think my pick of the year is probably The Good Place.
Okay, we talked about that last year too. Yeah, I think The Good Place is great.
The fact that this show has continued and has gone from, let's be honest, if this was a, Perfect Strangers contemporary comedy, it would have just gone on for 5 years. This person like who's not supposed to be in heaven, who's like tricking everybody and is like, hey, I'm in heaven. And they got rid of that so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And they did it in that brave way, which is they did it in like the finale or like the penultimate episode of the first season.
Yeah.
It's not really a spoiler for the direction of the show where they just threw that away. And it's like, is this only going to be one season? Because you just threw away the entire premise. And then they got up and kept going after that.
Well, and I think it was surprising. I think what you're saying is like they changed the direction of the show multiple times. And it's like, well, where is it going to go? Have you written yourselves into a corner? I don't think they have. I think they've been really clever. And yeah. I think they have great writers for the show, and I think they've really explored the concept. I hear what you're saying. I'm kind of sad that it's ending, but at least it's ending on a high note.
Yeah, and they've kept it strong for pretty much the entire thing. They've it's educational. It remains funny. Those characters, which seem like one-off caricatures, they've mined stuff out of them.
Yeah,
and the show's not even done yet.
No. So
it's still going strong. So, I mean, that's what I got my eye on.
Yeah. I think it's a strong choice. Yeah. And then just really enjoy all the characters on it.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, Kristen Bell done it again.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't really do it the first time because Veronica Mars was never very successful, but
I
notice
suppose.
not on our list. 2019 Veronica Mars.
Well, yeah, you're
Came
right.
out this year.
You're
Not on the
right.
list. You want to talk about movies?
Yes.
I was looking at the movies that have come out and
Mm-hmm.
forgetting that Shazam came out this year.
Oh yeah.
And Us came out this year.
Yes.
And Far From Home came out this year.
Uh-huh.
It's just like, but I mean, that's pretty much it. There's a lot of like pretty good movies that are all part of long franchises and
Yes.
stuff like that, and nothing really like
Earth-shattering.
stands out
Yeah.
from the pack. Did you have any ones that did?
Well, my best movie choice, and this is maybe pretty conventional or conservative of me, but is Marvel's Avengers Endgame. It's my pick because I think that they really stuck the landing, and I think that, I mean, we joked about this with Star Wars, but they brought a lot of character arcs to an end. That
What was it, 24?
No, I don't think it was. But I thought, they ended the character arcs pretty well and believable, but they also, I think, kind of created segues and like, well, I mean, like there was a literal handoff of passing of the torch between Cap and Falcon, which I think was really great. One of the only things that I didn't like about the movie was I mean, can we do spoilers for a movie that's been out for a while now?
For Endgame?
Yeah. I didn't appreciate how Black Widow didn't get a funeral.
She got a movie.
I know she has a movie, and I'm looking forward to that. But I feel like she should have gotten more than what she did. Like basically, Hulk throws a bench, and then we're done. So
It is the tradition of her people. on the steps, they always throw the bench
yeah.
before
But
they roll the cheese wheels.
yeah, I mean, it was just, there are some really great moments in it, like Thor talking to his mom, Tony talking to his dad, the handing off of the torch, and like,
They took a lot of breaks for
Yeah.
stuff that they didn't have to take breaks for.
yeah.
You're thinking about a movie that's supposed to be like, it's supposed to top Infinity War. And it's supposed to be the be all end all.
Yeah.
What? Question. Why are we making Marvel movies still?
I know.
Shouldn't we all walk away?
Yeah.
They never will.
Right.
But yeah, you're basically making something that is like the end of all of this.
Yes.
And you don't have to stop, bring the guy from Mad Men back.
I know.
And do a bunch of bits with him.
I know.
And yet they did, because the most important character, like it or not, in this franchise is Tony Stark.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's going to leave this life, with all the boxes checked,
Yeah.
this is what we need to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And plus, you've had Nicole Brown in it. So
I know.
I'm on board.
I know. And I mean, we get that great scene between Black Widow and Hawkeye fighting over like who's going to die.
That's great.
It's like, there's just so many great things. And then when you hear Sam say to Cap on your left, and like everybody's coming through these Doctor Strange portals, I mean, that's such a great moment. And then like Cap wielding Mjolnir, there's just so many great moments in this. I cried a whole bunch of times, and I just feel like they ended it really well, and I think they did a really good job.
Yeah, let's stop.
Okay.
We're done.
All right.
No more Marvel movies.
Okay.
That's it. Oh, you didn't really want to see the Eternals, did you? Forget it. Yeah, and plus, this is sort of like the movie version of Good Place for me. It's like, they did it.
Yeah.
They did it.
I know.
How did they do it?
I know.
How did you take a comedy starring Ted Danson, the guy from Becker? I know he's on Cheers. And it's something that's going to piss a lot of people off. That
Yeah.
like, Heaven is not great.
Mm-hmm.
Heaven Can Wait, the sequel. Heaven not great. Just like Heaven. And then throw a bunch of philosophy in it. Like, we're going to talk
know.
about Kant a lot on this show.
I know.
And it's still going.
Yeah.
And it's got a black lead.
I know.
Which is more important than you'd think. Two of them. So, and an Asian guy.
Yeah, right?
So, like, I don't know how they did it. We're still talking about Good Place.
Yeah.
Talking about Avengers. Just, yeah, you can't look at Avengers is like the tail of an elephant. You're not just rating that.
Yeah.
The whole thing has walked by you.
I'm rating the entire MCU.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And you have to.
Yeah.
Well,
How about you?
I think that was probably going to be mine for the reasons I just said.
Okay.
So I guess I'll mention The Lighthouse.
All right. Yeah.
Which I did not enjoy as much as The Witch.
Fair.
And I don't know if it's him, quote unquote, selling out to do a movie with these two stars.
Right.
But the answer is no, it's not. Because they're two stars that will do anything. And did.
Yeah.
Did in this film. And the fact that I think it's a good sign, even though I just complained about, quote unquote, selling out in The Favorite or whatever, that people can get so excited about something that cost $6 million.
Right.
And could have easily just been a weird A24 movie that languishes, in February, but then is mentioned at the Oscars later on. So, yeah, looking for a great Marvel movie coming up next from Robert Eggers. Surprised they haven't snapped him up yet.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised.
He's got his fingers crossed. Three groups of fingers crossed. The nomination.
Yeah.
The award.
Yeah.
And then the call from Marvel. Come on
That's
up.
the order it goes in.
Well
right?
done, good and faithful servant.
Yeah, right.
Here's D-Man.
Oh, man.
Let's pick
No.
on D-Man. Any personal highs or picks from you from other genres or media that you wanted to share or talk about?
Well, I don't play a lot of video games, but I watch you play a lot of video games.
Sounds familiar.
So I was thinking about all the games I've seen you play this year, and if I could pick any game from any year, I think I would either pick Breath of the Wild or Prey, because
Breath of the Wild didn't come out this year, but
no, I know.
Yeah.
Neither of them did. They both came out in 2017.
yeah.
But Breath of the Wild is just so much fun, and you have all these puzzles, and like it's like you want to climb something, you can. You want to hit somebody, you can. Like I just feel like there's all the opportunities are there for you, and it doesn't say no to the player at all, you know. And I think it's really great because of that. And then Prey, I just thought was like really fun to watch. Interesting story, sci-fi.
Not going to see another one of those.
But when I was thinking about the 2019 releases, I thought about Control, but I felt like, there were parts of that where it got kind of frustrating. And it, like, they didn't really give you necessarily, not like a video game has to give you clues as to like what to do when you're stuck, because you get stuck in a video game and you just have to kind of figure it out. But, and then I was thinking about Resident Evil 2, the remake, which I think is fine, and like the monsters are really gross and everything, and like and I think you had it on hard too, so like there were like a lot of parts you had to redo and everything. But then I realized what I was left with was Death Stranding, so I think I have to kind of go with Death Stranding.
Everybody pee on a mushroom for Death Stranding.
I know. I didn't think that I would pick this one, but there's all these like cutscenes, and for like a video game, I thought they were done really well. I think they got really great actors for this game.
That's kind of all they've got.
I know.
You walk.
I know.
And you watch the guy from Walking Dead do something.
Yeah, and there are long stretches of time where it's just walking, and then like a song starts to play.
Yeah, there's a lot of songs.
Yeah, there's a lot of songs.
From, I think, Churches is a band that people might know.
Yeah.
And then I don't think any of the other artists are
well known.
I don't know, I guess I don't know music all that well, but yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's definitely like a runner-up for me. I haven't really had a chance to really drill down to it yet. It's mostly just, hey, do you like bouts of gameplay, let's say, in between long explanatory cutscenes? And the answer is yes. I own every game that Hideo Kojima has made.
Right.
But this one's really pushing me to the edge. I wish I could shoot some of these mules instead of just running away and balancing my pack.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, like, people criticized Metal Gear Solid 5, its existence, first of all, but also just a lot of things that were promised and didn't necessarily show up, and things that didn't make sense. But that was a bold new direction for the series, just a full open world, do what you want, go where you want type thing. And I was looking for that, and this is that, just no guns, no
Right.
no Fulton extraction, no cars, no
Which
snapping
I was
necks.
like, I was like super surprised to find out you didn't fight anybody in this.
No,
like,
he's like Steven Seagal, he's like, yeah, I'm really getting more into spiritualism now. So like he can't kill anybody in his movies anymore. That's what Kojima's doing with this game.
well, it's like there are these ghosts or spirits or whatever, but you don't like kill or dispatch
Kill
them
the
or
ghosts.
you don't like get rid of them or send them on their way or anything like
Yeah.
that. It's like, what? You just have to lay low.
It's well, that was a big part of Metal Gear Solid too, often. But so yeah, I was still thinking about my list of sellouts, and I came up with some more. Marty Scorsese made a TV show. I mean, a movie.
I know.
I mean, that's a big deal.
I know.
And I don't think that he is totally at ease with it.
I think you're probably right.
I think he and I are on the same page with that. Michael Bay made a ton of Netflix movies, if a ton is 3 or whatever he made.
That's still
And he's
a
Mr.
lot.
Cinema. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jim Jarmusch made a zombie movie this year.
Really?
Yes.
What was it called?
It was called Adam Driver and Bill Murray are in it. I don't remember what it's called.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. It's like this weird kind of zombie comedy thing.
Yeah.
But it like came and went.
Yeah,
in
well, I
the
mean,
theater.
it's a Jim Jarmusch movie,
I
but the
know.
fact that he's like, oh, yeah, I could make a zombie movie. Like, what? I guess he made a vampire movie, too. Maybe he's just going through the whole Universal
Maybe he is.
monsters list.
Yeah.
Um,
Adam Driver had a lot of movies come out this year. I
that's
feel
true.
like.
That's true. Also, they made a sequel to The Shining this year.
Oh,
The
I know.
Shining.
I know.
They made a sequel to The Shining.
And Ewan McGregor was in it.
Like, how much? Yeah, right. Well, I mean, he'll do anything. Again, I don't blame the actor. But like, how much can you sell out to make a sequel to The Shining?
I know. It's
It's like making
weird.
Casablanca 2.
I mean, wasn't there like some like little girl who was like psychic or something like that? Like he was talking to some
Yeah,
kid.
there's a psychic girl, and there's a yeah.
And but then we still see like the tidal wave of blood because we have to have that because it's iconic.
Yeah, and it was in Ready Player One, which the less said about the better. Richard Linklater made a Oprah book club book movie this year.
Which is so weird.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if it's in the Oprah Book Club, but like, Where'd You Go, Bernadette is 100% Hollywood, middle of the road fare.
Yeah.
Starring Kate Blanchett getting a paycheck and a bunch of other Hollywood people just showing up.
Right.
In a story that's sort of life affirming, and it's about a middle-aged woman trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
It's just like, that is Oprah Book Club stuff.
It is.
And Richard Linklater made that movie. Now,
I know.
he's never let anybody tell him what to do, and he's done, he did Dazed and Confused, and he did a movie a couple years ago called We're Gonna Get Slayed, Everybody, or I can't remember what it's called. It was like Everybody Wants Some. That's what it was.
Well, it's pretty similar to what you said.
And it's like a sex comedy in the 80s, where the Dazed and Confused was the 70s or late 60s or whatever. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine, but
Yeah.
he's just like, this year it's like, well, if I'm going to do this movie that's going to take 24 years to make or whatever this next one I want to do is, I need that money. And so he did it.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
just like,
yeah. It's a weird pick for him, I feel like. So it just doesn't make it. Why? But I think maybe you're right. He
did
just wanted to
somebody
make
say,
money.
selling out?
Yeah.
Are we finally, sucking at the teat?
I think we probably are. Yeah.
And like Todd Haynes?
I don't know that I do.
Todd Haynes, Velvet Goldmine, Carol,
okay.
Far From Heaven. He was like the kind of king of queer cinema, in the last decade or two. Mm-hmm. He made like a political thriller with Mark Ruffalo.
Weird.
So yeah, I mean, I think I have a case here.
I think you do. Yeah.
Yeah. Auteurs are selling out. Like, is this the beginning of the end? Are they taking the last chopper out of Artistville?
It would appear to be so.
That's my supposition. As far as the video game side goes, there were a lot of great games this year, and I think that, and there's so many of them that I haven't got to play yet. There's been so many games. There's so many indies I missed, like Untitled Goose Game. which I feel like I've watched the entirety of on YouTube, but I haven't actually played yet.
Yeah, it looks fun.
I was so busy messing with the Outer Worlds, I missed the Outer Wilds. And I definitely want to get my hands on that. Yeah. And Disco Elysium is something that totally passed me by until I started reading up on it. It was like, I got to play that game.
Oh,
but
really?
I have not yet. Huh. So, no, I was caught up with underwhelming games like The Outer Worlds or Control.
Yeah, I know.
A game that has atmosphere in spades, but doesn't have the writing and like real control scheme or just gameplay to back it up.
Yeah, you can throw things. That's probably like one of the coolest parts.
No, the powers
about
are cool. Yeah, but it's just that's all. It's Remedy, right?
Yeah, I think so.
All their games are that. It's just you float around, you have cool powers, and you don't ever really feel the physics are weird. You don't feel grounded in the world that you're supposed to be in, and then the story's usually kind of shaky. And so there you go. I love that Resident Evil 2.
Yeah. Is that your pick?
No, it can't be my pick.
Oh, okay. Well, what is your pick then?
Well, this goes... Okay, here's another remake. Link's Awakening.
Oh, yeah.
Which is fantastic. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
But I played this game 25 years ago.
Right.
And here we are.
I know.
So you know what the best game is?
What?
Trials Rising.
What? What?
I'm not kidding.
What is that?
That's the dirt bike game.
Oh, okay.
This series has been around for a long, long time. This is the newest entry. And you can't not have fun playing that game. And
it's
all
goofy.
I do is fail at that game. And yet it is so fun. The tracks are insane. The edited tracks, there's like, you can make your own tracks. And some of the things that people come up with are crazy. Somehow they turn it into like first person shooters and stuff like that.
Sure.
And like and like side scrolling, like Mario type stuff. And like you can do anything in that game. It's endlessly customizable. It's just pure bliss and fun. It's like a good party game.
Yeah.
Like screw Mario Party. Just hand it the controller to somebody and go, I don't know what I'm doing. Don't worry about it. Nobody's good at it. Just go.
Right.
And it's fun and it's endlessly replayable. The only drawback is the horrible, horrible music.
Oh.
They should spend a little more money and get some actual music that people would want to hear. It's just this generic, like, blah, blah, blah,
punk kind of,
And then a little bit of like rock rap, which is like, wait a minute, what year is it? Yeah, I'm going with Trial. Everything else cancels each other out.
Yeah.
Trials Rising.
All right.
That's the one.
Fair. I think that's fair. Yeah.
Anything else? Any creators or performers or?
Well, I mean, this really goes back to Endgame. I have to give it to the Russo brothers. For bringing it home and just steering this mammoth film that is Avengers Endgame. I mean, I know they did Infinity War 2 and they did 2 of the Captain America films.
And they did that Ray Romano film.
What?
Wasn't that their first movie?
Maybe.
Was like the Ray Romano film, right?
That could be.
Welcome to Collingswood or...
Yeah. I heard about that one.
It's just not a good movie. And does not at all preface or
show what they can
do. What they would do. Oh no, I'm thinking of Welcome to Bridgeport or...
Oh, okay.
But still, this is still it's a George Clooney, Sam Rockwell movie.
Yes.
And it's kind of like a comedy movie.
Yes.
It doesn't show at all like where they would
their
end
chops.
Up. Yeah.
They directed some Arrested Development and some Community.
Oh yeah.
And I think you said like I'd love to see them to do like other films, and I agree with you.
Mooseport.
Yeah.
Welcome to Mooseport.
Okay.
Sorry, just go ahead.
I have no idea. But there have a couple things coming up that they're going to be working on. But they're working with some of the same Marvel people on them. Like there's this movie called DACA, which Joe wrote, and I think they are producing it, but they're not actually directing it. And they're
working on some foreign projects too.
Yeah, it stars Chris Hemsworth and David Harbour.
Yeah.
And then there's this movie Cherry, which is a semi-autobiographical novel about an army medic who comes back from Iraq and robs banks. And it was written by this guy who's still in prison.
Okay, so it's a true story.
Yeah, and
it sounds kind of like
it's loosely
Presidents or something.
Loosely based, and Tom Holland is playing the lead in that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. I like that Harry Potter, not his name, has had a lot of trouble slipping that image to play stuff. And I think he's found his niche. But Tom Holland's like, I'm Tom Holland. I was the backup dancer in Billy Elliot.
Yeah.
Or I was in the revival of Billy Elliot or whatever. So I'm a action star. I'm a spy. I'm all these things.
I know.
I'm Nathan Drake.
I know.
Are you?
I know.
Are you?
But I guess they're also set up to direct a new version of the Poltergeist.
Sure.
And they're going to executive produce an animated series on Netflix. Huh?
Just Poltergeist.
Yeah, right? And they're going to executive produce an animated series on Netflix based on Magic the Gathering, which apparently they're huge fans of.
Yeah. I mean, they're producing that, but yeah.
Yeah.
They're huge fans of.
They play it, apparently.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
God, Dad. Jeez. You and Uncle Tony, that's all you do. If I had to call out some creators, we've said his name a million times, but the aforementioned Noah Hawley, of course.
Oh,
another guy
for
who
sure.
was like, wow, where'd he come from?
I know.
I remember watching The Unusuals. Wasn't that what it was?
Was that what it was?
That was like his first cop show on ABC, and it was like a comedy cop show starring Amber Tamblyn and Jeremy Renner. And it was like they're busting cases, but it's like Scrubs, but it was a cop show.
Sure.
Not canceled, not great.
Okay.
It was all right. And then, here he is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, and he's got Fargo. It doesn't really cross over into genre, so we don't talk about it a lot. But like Fargo and just all those other successes. Legion could have easily been on my best
Legion was great.
Yeah. So definitely him. I haven't seen Marriage Story. Don't really plan to.
No.
I like this Adam Driver kid. Every single year, he's had a better year than the year before.
That's true. Yeah.
And as long as he doesn't have to watch what he does, 2020 is going to be even better. Until he accidentally catches a view of himself on a screen in Times Square and then throws himself off the Empire State Building.
Right?
We're pulling for you, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
And then somebody else who just can't be stopped and the years just keep getting better is Mr. Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
That guy.
He's doing great.
You can't stop that guy.
No.
He can do anything.
Yeah.
He proved it when he played a pirate or whatever he is in the lighthouse. And he had 3 movies this year. He has already got 3 movies slated to come out for next year and 3 additional movies that he's actually still working on.
Wow.
Busy guy. And then he was in like 5 movies last year. He's actually set up to be in Robert Eggers' next film. Oh. Which is a Viking movie.
Really?
Set in the 10th century, starring Anya Taylor-Joy, bringing her back from The Witch.
Okay, sure.
Taking Willem Dafoe from Lighthouse.
Yeah.
Add a Nicole Kidman.
Very nice.
And Bill Skarsgård.
Okay, I can see it.
Mr. It.
Yes.
So, yeah. Looking for a lot from that guy.
Yeah.
I'm something of a scientist myself. All right, I have a new theory. You know how like every movie that ends in a question mark fails?
Yes.
That's Hollywood like superstition?
Yeah.
Check this out. Welcome to Collinwood. Welcome to Mooseport. Welcome to Marwen. I think movies that their titles start with welcome to
don't do well.
Succeed.
No.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah. I think you're onto something there. Yeah.
Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle.
Right.
If it was called Welcome to the Jungle, like the movie from 2013 starring Jean-Claude Van Damme and Adam Brody, it would have been succeeded.
Wow. Jean-Claude Van Damme and Adam Brody.
Now you say, what about Welcome to the Dollhouse? And I would say, that was like a indie hit.
Yeah.
Like, it was, it didn't like gross a ton.
Okay, sure.
But what about Welcome to Me? Same. What about Welcome to the Rileys? Oh, you mean like James Gandolfini's last film?
Wow.
Or, no, his last film was the one with Julia Louis-Dreyfus, but that was one of his last with Kristen Stewart.
Okay.
I
think you're onto something.
I think I am.
Yeah.
What you do with that information is up to you.
Well, I think I don't welcome you anywhere, right?
Welcome to Baby Yoda. Well, that is it for our look back at 2019. I mean, for all the complaining we did, we had a lot of fun.
I think so.
And I guess that's the point, right?
Yeah.
So maybe 2019 was, as I said at the beginning of the show, not the hellest of the hellscapes.
Right.
But there's always next year. And we hope you follow us into next year. We're, of course, available to chat with on Facebook and Twitter and social media. And we'll be redoubling our efforts to communicate on those in the new year. Also, we have a Discord server that we will invite anybody to who wants to go. We've got a link that should be valid for it in the show notes. Or you can just message us at Just Enough Trope on Facebook or at Just Enough Trope on Twitter, and we'll send you an invitation. Come join us and talk about basically all the subjects of the shows on the Just Enough Trope network.
Yes.
Like pop culture, movies, TV, movie films, TV games, and video shows on anime, anything you can think of that is probably something you should have left behind when you became an adult. We're still talking about, and so we'd love to see you there. Also, if you are listening to the show and you are not subscribed to us on your platform of choice, first of all, I don't know how you get it, so I'm going to assume that you are. But if you're not, go for it, subscribe. And if you do listen to us on Stitcher, on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever your platform is, think about this. Give us a gift.
Yeah.
It's late for Christmas. Maybe this is a New Year's gift. People do that?
Yeah. Let's say yes.
Let's say yes.
In Japan, they do.
Give us a Japanese gift. Subscribe to Sailor Noob.
Yes.
And give us a review. Yeah. We'd appreciate it. We've been around for a while, and I was looking at how many reviews we've got, and I thought, we need more than this, and it's because we probably don't encourage people to do that. So that's my call to action for this. We'd appreciate a rating and review from you on your listening platform of choice. Doesn't matter which one it is. Wherever you listen to us, let the people in charge know that we're doing a good job. And to that end, give us 5 Babu Fricks. You thought I was going to say Baby Yodas. You were wrong. Hey, Babu Frick. The world's new boyfriend. Can fix me anytime. No, give us 5 stars on those, and we'd appreciate it. We'll be back in the new year to talk about all the pop culture that's coming up in 2020 and beyond. And until then, I'm Hugh Downs.
And I'm Barbara Wawa.
Keep the geek fires burning.